Let's freaking go. Mississippi State fans, you guys deserve all the credit in the world going into Fayetteville and taking it to the Arkansas Razorbacks. And I understand I am the film study guy. You guys come here for my film breakdowns, but let me be the first to tell you, okay? Um, you're cooked. That is the worst offensive performance I've ever seen. I think Chad Morris in his current state could have come into Fayetteville and coached this team better than Dan Enos and Sam Pittman. KJ Jefferson was beyond abysmal too. I don't know what the case is with him, but when your offensive line can't protect simple twist, it's like the Arkansas coaching staff did not watch any Mississippi State film going into this. And you caught a major break with them coming off a bye week. Their legendary third in all-time SEC passing yard quarterback, Will Rogers, was not made available today. So they started Mike Wright, who was basically a nobody at Vanderbilt. But Mike Wright last year went into Kentucky and beat the Kentucky Wildcats. So this is a quarterback who had made road victories in the past in the SEC, but he was terrible. He was absolutely abysmal. First drive of the game, throws an interception right at someone. Fumble at the end that should have been scooped and scored. So you can look at it both ways if you're an Arkansas Razorback fan. You can look at it that you were very unlucky in not winning this game today, but the honest truth is that was the worst offense I have ever seen, maybe ever in the SEC. They can't protect. They don't know how to beat too high. They don't understand what a check down is. Mississippi State sinks their linebackers so far back that you have got to keep hitting your check downs. And they couldn't get that. And KJ Jefferson is just playing terrible. I have got to be real, man. I understand that his supporting cast stinks. Nobody's getting open. No one knows how to run a dig. No one can get separation. But he stunk today. He was just god awful. I don't know if he's playing through injury. I don't know. But he's making me look like an idiot right now because before the season, I was telling everyone in college football media, hey, don't forget about KJ Jefferson. Don't forget about KJ. And he was amazing last week versus Alabama. But y'all, this is the worst I've ever seen him. I don't know if it's a lack of effort. I think he did play hard. It's just he does not believe in this team at all. And when your really good quarterback doesn't believe in your team, you're done. You are done. You are toast. So I don't know how long I'm going to be live here. If you guys have any questions, once again, I'm a neutral observer. I'm not an Arkansas Razorback fan. Most of my friends that I grew up with are. And I got to be honest, they didn't even watch. Danny Enos is really bad. Everything that you guys feel right now as an Arkansas Razorback fan is justified. You are so bad. You are so bad. KJ's bad right now. Your receivers are bad. Your running backs are bad. You don't have Rocket. If I'm Rocket, there's no way I'm playing another down for this team. And the offensive line is abysmal. And I also got to say this. Sam Pittman is bad. He's not a good football coach right now. All right. And I understand that this week you might have some people tiptoe around the truth when it comes to, Razorback media that you may consume. But if they don't tell you straight up that he was bad today and abysmal and not SEC standard, because here's the thing. It's not like Mississippi State played a good game. They did not play a good game. Their defense did what they do on film. This was not anything exotic that they were doing. It's exotic from a standpoint that they do play an obscure defense, but everything that they did defensively is what I've seen them on film, and I've watched them really closely this year. It's crazy, absolutely crazy that I witnessed that. But I'm about to get off of here and watch the end of another offensive juggernaut game between Penn State and Ohio State. I did predict Gus Malzahn to make this game interesting between UCF and Oklahoma, so I might check that out myself. We thought Enos would adapt his offense to the personnel, but he set KJ back. Yeah. That's just the truth. Dan Enos is not a good offensive coordinator. He was a good offensive coordinator when he had Brandon Allen, but that also had Drew Morgan, Sebastian Tretola. You had Jay Will, Alex Collins. I mean, you were loaded then. So that's not the case now. Let's go to Graham here. Why would Arkansas keep going back to Dominion, who averages 3.3 yards per carry, and can't block over AJ Green, who's averaging 6.3 yards per carry? It's a good question, Graham. I don't know. Anyone that's watched my film studies knows that I don't get it with Dominion. I just don't. I mean, I think he's okay. But I do think he struggles with pass protection in particular. And I also think, for me, AJ Green just has a little bit more juice. But the truth is, Graham, is neither one of them are really all that great. So, yeah, Charles says AJ Green should be RB2 behind Rocket. Yeah, I don't know if Rocket Sanders plays another game this year for Arkansas. I wouldn't play for this team. But the truth here is you've got to start if you are and I understand, like, normally with these kinds of things I want to just focus on the game because a lot of you just witness the game, but I've got to be real here, okay? You got to start if you are Hunter Yurachek, and I know Hunter. I've seen him. I've actually spoke to him twice, and I haven't been to Fayetteville in forever. Once in an airport in Chicago, ironically. If you're Hunter Yurachek, you've got to start thinking who your next head coach is going to be. This was unacceptable. This was simply unacceptable. Sam was woefully bad today. Woefully. And I know he's not the one to call the plays. And I know a lot of you Arkansas fans are ready for baseball season, and you're excited that Brazil, the superstar forward, is healthy, and you guys are going to be really good in basketball. But Sam is bad. Sam is not an SEC coach right now. He's not. He did a good job riding the ship. But yeah, I mean, I just think he's bad. I do. And you got to start looking for a new coach. I'm not going to say who I would go with. I'm just not, because it's just going to piss you guys off. But I'll keep that opinion to myself. Okay. But if I was advising Hunter Yurachek, I would heavily go in one direction. And there's actually a few coaches that I would look into at this point. But, Sam's just not it right now. He's just not. Yeah, Corey, the offensive line was bad today. They were bad, but you knew they were bad. The issue with me, Corey, is I don't know what film that they watched. Mississippi State loves to do something called a twist, okay? They love to do something called a twist, all right, where one guy loops around another. It's hard to pick it up, especially if you are not a good offensive line. It is so hard to pick up. They could not pick it up at all. I mean, I think half of the time they could pick it up. But for the truth here is they just weren't ready for it. They just weren't. Okay. So we'll take a few more here. Obviously, I know a lot of you Arkansas fans are venting. Both quarterbacks in this game, both threw for under 100 yards. Both. Okay. That includes 2-minute drills. Okay. That's what makes that crazy. There were multiple 2-minute drills. So what does that mean? Well, that means you should be getting easy passing yards. So let's go to Charles here. Pittman really isn't bad. Dan Enos is garbage. Strong disagreement. He was bad. Okay, here's a good example. It's 4th and 1. Okay, you're around midfield, or it was 4th and short. You are down by 4. Okay, you get the delay of game penalty. All right, trying to get Cam Little out there to kick a field goal. All right. First off, you shouldn't be kicking a field goal in that spot. I understand Cam Little is good, and he's perfect from 50-plus yards. You've got to go for that right there. But it takes a while for you to make the decision, okay? So the head coach takes too long to make a decision. Field goal team is laid out there, and now it's 4th and 6. You got to punt. That is on Sam Pittman, okay? Let me break this down a little bit easier for you, Charles, and anyone else that wants to defend Sam Pittman. Okay. The hardest thing to do is be a head coach, all right? I am not between the headset, nor have I ever been, okay? I know coaches. I know coordinators. I will tell you this, Charles. If you do not call the plays, which Sam Pittman doesn't do, there's only 2 things you really have to do as a head coach. There's 2 decisions you have to make. When to call a timeout and when to go for it on 4th down. That's it. So if you're not calling the plays, you've got to have in your mind one thing. And you've got to be decisive. If it is 4th and short, do you want to kick a field goal or do you want to go for it? It's a black and white decision. It shouldn't take more than 5 seconds to make that decision. Okay? And I'm not saying you have to go by an analytics book or anything like that. I'm very pro analytics in that situation. But you've got to do something. You've got to be quicker. But yeah, it's a mess. It is an absolute mess. Okay. Yeah, Bobby, it might not matter. It might not matter. Because KJ's not playing well right now. And there's not a more pro KJ person in neutral Arkansas media, right? Now, I do want to talk about Mississippi State because this is an SEC channel, and we'll continue talking about Arkansas as well. Mississippi State had a really good game plan today. Give Zach Arnett a lot of credit, but he also sucked. I mean, his management wasn't that great, but he was playing with the backup quarterback. They almost lost the game just on 2 very simple mistakes. And part of why this is on KJ as well is on the very first drive of the game, you have Ty Washington open in the end zone on a rollout. Now the snap was high. I give KJ, some slack for that. You've got to make that throw. You can't short arm that rolling out to your strong side. You've got to hit Ty Washington there in the end zone, and you settle for a field goal. Now, I don't think anyone would have thought that would have been the last time Arkansas would get close to scoring in this game, but that's exactly what happened. You've got to make that throw. Yeah, Graham, I think part of it is because of the twist. They could not block it. Also, at the end of the first half, DeBinion was late picking up a blitz, okay? It was a second-level blitz. It was tough. It's also kind of weird because I don't know how that's coached. Only Dan Enos, the running back coach, and DeBinion knows how that should have been protected. And we're going to talk about that in the film study as well. But yeah, I don't know what the call was supposed to be there. But ultimately, as Lou points out here, the head coach is responsible. If you only scored 3 points, the head coach is responsible. Okay? Kirk Ferentz is one of the best coaches in college football of the modern era. His team can't score. And I know he's a defensive-minded coach. It's on you to score points. Okay? It doesn't matter. The head coach has got to call a better game, make better decisions. Okay? But at this point, Arkansas is just not it. They are not it. They're the worst team in the SEC. I don't know if I could put them even over Vanderbilt right now. Vanderbilt's got a pulse offensively. And I think right now you feel miraculous that you were in the LSU and the Alabama game. So, yeah, I mean, it's just how it is. I mean, and honestly, this result, if you are just a general SEC fan watching this, because I know I have, LSU folks that watch this, Alabama folks that watch this was a bad day for the SEC. Okay. When these two teams look as bad as they look today, if I'm a ACC fan or anyone like that, I would say, look, you guys crap all over us. You put that out. So, yeah, you should never lose this game if you're Arkansas. You should never lose this game. And I don't want to hear and one thing I was wrong about, okay, and one guy on Twitter turned out to be right, okay. Sam Pittman's just awful in close games. He is awful, right? More often than not, if a coach loses a bunch of close games, you get positive regression, right? Because close games can flip, right? As you guys saw, Arkansas had some bad luck. You probably still should have won the game on the fumble recovery for a touchdown. But Sam Pittman just can't win close games. He does not win the close ones for whatever reason. All right. But yeah, I mean, and I feel I feel bad for him because this is his dream job. This is where he wants to be, and he's done some good things. But at the same time, you're getting paid $7 million a year to put out a better product. You've got the best quarterback you could possibly ask for at Arkansas. And if you would have told me before the season that KJ would look like this, I'm telling you, quarterbacks just don't get this bad. They don't just get this bad. All right. But it's to that point where KJ's just not playing good at all. And I love him. I got his cards. I'm a fan. I love guys that put teams on his back. But if you really examine even Arkansas last season, you'll see that they were just a byproduct of KJ pushing them through games. And you lost the OC. Kendall Browse turned out to be a lot, bigger key for your success, and it's just not there. So there you go. Now, here's what I'm going to do. If you want to support this SEC channel, this Arkansas and Mississippi State coverage, from a Mississippi State point, Mississippi State has a strong case for the best linebacker duo in the SEC. Nathaniel Watson and Jett Johnson just killed it today. That was number 14 and number 44. Okay. If you guys want to support what I do, it does take a while. Obviously, I have another job outside of this. Feel free to super chat. My Venmo is at Card of the Power, super chat, all that good stuff, because that helps feed my dog, and my dog is out of food. And my wife, I have no idea how she did this. She spent $60 at Applebee's yesterday. How do you spend $60 at Applebee's? They got $1 Bahama Mamas. How do we get to that level? I know what a lot of you are saying. I could use a $1 Bahama Mama right about now. Oh, man. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. And I live stream Thursday nights as well at 6. Okay. Put a poll question up. Just see what you guys have to say. Let me see. Looks like Oklahoma's going to win this one. Looks like Penn State's going to lose. Ugh. That pass interference call changed everything. That's true, Clay. That's true. All right, good guys and gals. We'll talk to you soon. I'm going to put the film breakdown as much. I'm going to get it out as quickly as I can. So I'll talk to you soon. It is Power Hour SEC. Bam! And tonight we are doing lemon pepper chicken wings. Let's go.